Hi, today I'm going to show you some ways to work with the Celadons like a watercolor. We're going to work on a dark clay, apply a white slip, do a little etching, and then fill in our etching with the Celadon glazes. So we'll start here. This is a little teacup made with milk chocolate dark clay. I'm going to apply a white slip onto the piece. It's leather hard. It's at the perfect stage to accept the slip. You don't want to wait for clay to get too dry before you apply a slip because everything needs to shrink together. The slip I'm using today is made with white chocolate clay that have been slaked down, run through a sieve to get out any lumps, and then I'm going to apply it with my number 6 fan brush. When you're applying slip to leather hard clay, you're re-wetting the clay. So it could be that your piece gets a little bit more flexible after you apply the slip. Move this guy off. Let it set up to dry. I have another one here ready to go. I'm going to show you how I do the designs. I've tried a lot of different tools for drawing on clay through slip, and what I have settled on as my favorite thing to use is the back side of an X-Acto blade. The back side gives me a nice crisp line. This one is nice and ergonomic. It's easy to hold. I'm just going to start with the little organic design here of leaves and birds. The X-Acto blade should flow through easily. If it feels crunchy or clay has gotten too dry. Once you have carved through the clay, don't touch what you've done. You will raise a little bit of the edge of the clay here and leave that. Don't try to smooth it out now because it'll just make a whole bunch of scratchy mess. When this piece comes out of the bisque kiln, I will sand it down with some wet dry sandpaper underneath some running water to smooth all those burrs down. So for now, the best thing to do is just leave it alone. You do want to be quick and intentional with your lines. Can't really go back and fix it. And there we go. Got my decoration going all the way around. Now this guy is ready to dry and go into the bisque kiln. I'm not going to clean up those lines at all. I'm going to leave that for after it comes out of the kiln. So I have this piece here that has come out of the bisque kiln. Already gone ahead and sanded it. I use wet dry sandpaper, about 150 to 200 grit works really well. It doesn't scratch up and mar the surface. It just takes off the rough edges. After I sanded it and it had dried a bit, I took some Jet Black Underglaze, V361 Jet Black. Took some out, watered it down just a little bit, and used a stiffer brush to go over the surface. You do want to thin it out a little so that it'll soak into all these fine detail. This is a piece with the Jet Black wash on a white clay, and it will have a little bit of a different look versus a Jet Black wash on a dark clay with the slip. So this cup is all ready to glaze. I'm going to use a variety of Celadon glazes. They're all intermixable, they're all compatible, they can butt up right next to each other. And I'm going to use them kind of like a watercolor with just 1 to 2 coats of each color and then cover the entire piece with another Celadon glaze. To keep everything straight in my mind, I do like to use a pencil and kind of write down in each area which glaze I'm going to use. So now I'm going to use some Jade here, Succulent here, Jade there, Rainforest over here, Poppy on my bird body, some Marigold, a little Snapdragon here, and I'll get started. First one I'm going to start with is Jade. I love this color. It's a deep, luscious green. It's got a very tropical feel to it. I'm okay if I don't fill in the whole leaf. It gives it a gestural quality that I like. Nice thing about using these two glazes together, they're both greens. If I get a little bit of Saguaro on top of the Jade, it's really okay. They will blend together, the Jade will come through. Next, I'm gonna come in with a darker green, Rainforest. I'm gonna come back in with Succulent and see how far these Celadons go with a technique like this. This jar will last me forever. Now I'm going to work on my birds. This cup has 2 birds. I'm going to give them bodies of Poppy. First thing I'm going to do is I am going to mask the eyes and the beak out. So I'm going to put a little bit of blue painter's tape right on the beak, right on the eyeball, and I can just go right over it, peel it up, and fill in those colors. try to make all my brush strokes go in the same direction. If everything's going in the same direction, it looks more intentional. I'm gonna add a little bit of detail with some bright red. The Snapdragon is beautiful. It's a pretty intense color, so I really just need a little dab. So I got my Marigold here. I love Marigold, I use it a lot. It's an intense yellow. I'm gonna do the beak and the eyeball the same color. There we go. At this point, it's ready for final couple coats of glaze. It already has about 1 to 1.5 coats of each of these colors on here. That's going to be enough to give me the effect I want. I don't use a lot of clear glaze in my work. I use a lot of the Celadons like I would use a clear glaze. These lighter colors, you can just go right over the darker colors and even the yellow and the poppy, and it might change the tone of the color a little bit. But I find a lot of times it really makes the colors a little bit brighter. Other Celadons that I use with this technique as an overglaze are Ice and Glacier and Aqua. I use Marigold sometimes, but the color intensity of Marigold, I will often do 1 coat of that and then 1 coat of mixing clear, so I get a floaty yellow in there. Again, I'm using my Cherry Blossom, 2 coats. Give me a nice pink quality. This piece will be fired to cone 6. Needs a little bit of cleanup and it's ready for the kiln.